Republicans are fretting about who may replace the ailing Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, Republican Kentucky, if he ultimately becomes unable to fill his post through the remaining 3 years of his term. Chatter inside the Beltway reported on by Henry Rogers, the Daily Caller's top congressional reporter, speculates that some of the top contenders to replace the 81-year-old include 2 of his deputies. While no one is expected to challenge Senator McConnell before the end of his term in 2026, current and former Senate staffers say the guardrails are being laid to keep the caucus in line without him. The alternative is really just a lookalike in Cornyn or Thune. My understanding is that Thune is likely to really inherit the McConnell infrastructure, and he seems to be the one that is likely to get it. At some point when McConnell does leave, in some form or fashion, I don't think Cornyn is without a shot. I think he has a chance, but I don't see anybody else. I don't see a viable outsider alternative coming into play, a former Senate Chief of Staff told the caller of Senators John Cornyn of Texas and John Thune of South Dakota. I put the Senate maybe into 3 camps. So, there are strong McConnell allies. There are the people who don't like McConnell and voted against him and are actual outsiders, and there's the folks in the middle. Frankly, a plurality of them were indifferent to McConnell, but afraid of their own shadow and will always support McConnell or whoever is the leader. There's a process, if you will, and that is very likely to stay the same, the former Senate Chief of Staff continued. Senator Rick Scott, Republican Florida, a frequent critic of McConnell who previously challenged him for the post, is not in the mix this time, the source added. I don't think anyone is actually going to step up. Rick Scott stepped up, to his credit, but even if you had maybe someone who was more associated with the MAGA-right or the populist realignment, I still don't think it will make a difference because of that plurality people who don't really do much, but always are willing to support the leadership and always support the establishment. By comparison, Senators Thune and Cornyn already carry out many of the leadership duties when McConnell is unwell. Thune and Cornyn are seen as the most natural successors. Right? Because they're kind of doing the job right now, to be totally candid. And Cornyn, has been in leadership. But I don't know that the field will be limited to just those 2. I think there are a lot of senators. This will be the first leadership election in 16 years, the Senate aide said. Consternation about the GOP's future in the nation's most exclusive club has reached a fever pitch following the second instance of the Kentucky senator freezing mid-speech at a public event. Although a Senate physician has cleared McConnell of any medical ailments that would prevent him from carrying out his functions, some can't help but wonder if the incidents are remnants from a brutal spill he took down a set of stairs at the Washington, D.C. Astoria Hotel earlier this year. He has faced calls at home to resign as well as from former President Donald Trump. The majority of the caucus has stood by McConnell, where senators on both sides of the aisle are loath to criticize colleagues for their age lest the tables be turned on them later. Senator Josh Hawley, Republican Missouri, is so far the only Republican in the caucus to call for McConnell to step down. If you're concerned about the president's ability to do his job, and I am, and a lot of Republicans say they are, then you've got to be concerned when it's somebody of your own party, Hawley told reporters Wednesday. In recent months, Governor Newsom has expanded his national profile by announcing support for a 28th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution banning assault weapons, even going so far as to take out print and digital ads asking citizens to sign a petition for Congress to act. As the former mayor of San Francisco, Newsom's progressive bona fides remain unchallenged and would have presented a formidable challenge from the left to an unpopular Democratic president who struggles to retain support from young people and voters of color. Still, Newsom's withdrawal from consideration does not provide President Biden with a gilded path to the nomination. He must still contend with a challenge from Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., a contrarian in the storied Democratic family who has mounted an insurgent bid against Biden and produced unpredictably strong polling in key states. Kennedy has garnered headlines for, among other things, calling for Biden to be investigated over his potential participation in schemes with his son Hunter and other members of their family to enrich themselves during his time as vice president.